Nico MacDonald. I run something called the Research and Development Society. Ning, I picked up on your question about needing to invest in product R&D. Now, this isn't a subject that startups think about, research and development, and you talked about it in the context of building your look and feel. So I'd be interested to know from you how you do think about investing in research and development rather than, so you can be original and you can be innovative. And to Renaud, I've used Eventbrite since about 2008, and I think it's a fabulous product. And I think one of the reasons it's fabulous compared to, for instance, Ticketmaster, which you don't directly compete with, is because you actually think about what I call user experience, i.e. how well designed, how easy to use, how pleasant to use is your product. And I'd like to know, I think design is a very important thing for startups. We see more and more startups which are focused on design, even led by people who are designers. So how's Eventbrite thought about design, both in terms of user experience and branding, and how would you advise us to think about it?
So let's deal with that one first, and we'll come back to you again afterwards, because we've got two questions there.
I think it's very similar to security. It's something you don't really think about at the beginning. You're a lot more focused on proving that your product has a market fit of any kind and getting those first customers in. But as you evolve and get more and more popular, that's where you need to invest. So hiring UX experts, designers. We didn't have a designer for the first 2.5 years, I think. I did everything that was design related, and that's why it looked like it looked like. You can go back in time and you'll see that the design that we had. So I think if the product is truly groundbreaking, different, doesn't exist before, applies to a wide audience, then design is less important. If you're entering a very crowded market where design can be a differentiator, then that's where you should invest first before you even have engineers. So I think it really depends what kind of industry you're trying to disrupt. If you're going into B2B commerce, for example, maybe you don't need such an emphasis on design. If you're selling furniture, for example, I think design should matter. If you're letting people buy tickets for events, I think you should pay attention to the quality of the product that you offer. So it's a constant investment, because we also have platforms that have been in existence for 10 years now, like ours. And we can't redesign everything every 2 years. We have so much functionality built into the product that it takes a big effort every time to change the design. So we're trying to be fairly forward-looking, anticipating the trends, and trying to adapt our product to meet the changing requirements of the customers.
You wanted to come in as well?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Renaud, because it all depends on what your customers want. And I think in a tech company's case, you have very different positioning than as a consumer business like ours, May.com. When people come for May.com, they look for a product, they look for aesthetic, they look for design. So as business, we have chosen, when you start a business, you could have chosen to be good in product, in price, in services, in so many things, but you have to admit that you cannot be good in all of those. So we chose the battle to be good in design and products, and we prioritize our effort and our team on it. And it remains that way and becomes part of the culture of the business. So when you ask the question about the R&D, we have today, of the 200 people we have in London, maybe around 100 people work for product and engineering. So it's a huge R&D team that are working constantly for what people are looking for, and that becomes a differentiator. But I think it's a conscious decision of differentiating ourselves and providing to customer what they want.
I've got a question from @Di of ITPR, who's watching the screening in Exeter.
Yay!
And she's asked, do the panel believe in luck, and did they have any particularly lucky breaks that have helped the business grow?
All that hard work, but is luck. Come on, how important is luck? Lucky breaks, how important is luck to you?
I think luck knocks on everyone's door, but you have to be the one that actually, wake up at the right time and also have the gut to open the door. There are different. I think if you look at our own case, we've been very lucky to be able to have all those investors in the beginning who trusted in us, but equally very unlucky in a way in my own case when I have to come over from overseas to start a business in a country I didn't know. So there are balancing acts at the end of the day, and I think being entrepreneur is about choosing your own terms, as Renaud say, and choosing your lucky side that you can have your better prospect for your business.
Are you making your luck? Was it coming to you, Justine? How about for you?
Well, I kind of think it's all entirely random, in the sense that I think, I mean, I don't know if any of you have read Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath, but I mean, he explains very succinctly that Bill Gates only became Bill Gates because he happened to be in the right place at the right time, and pretty much every entrepreneur like him, tech entrepreneur, had a similar background. And I definitely think that was true of me. It really worked for us that dot-com crash happened, because it meant all the big players stayed away and allowed us to build a community without any interference. So I don't want to sound as if you just have to open that fortune cookie, because clearly I also agree that you've got to take advantage. But if you're in the right place in the right time, that's probably the most important factor.
Now, you had a lovely phrase about curiosity and creativity, and there was something else, but I don't think luck was in there. Chance, is it? Yeah,
Chance.
Yeah, chance. The 3 C's.
Trends.
Oh, trends. Thank you. Maybe chance.
But I think luck is, it's really important to realize the key moments in your life. I didn't know my 2 co-founders before we started the company. We were introduced to a friend, and we had a first meeting, and they explained the project that they wanted me to join, and I took a chance. That's the type of decisions you have to make very quickly. I had another job, I had other commitments, but I believed in what they were telling me. I believed that we could work together, and history told me that it was possible. But at the time, I had to take a leap of faith. And I think oftentimes that's the biggest moments in your life will be these tiny moments you might underappreciate, and that later on will prove to be critical in your life.
So how do you make sure you've got that partnership right? Because if yours is a 3-way, a menage a trois.
A 3-way with a married couple, yes.
Yes, with a married deal. Right, hang on, we're not past the watershed yet. But the point is that a lot of people find partnerships very difficult. There's a graveyard full of partnerships that have gone horribly wrong. So to go in with 2, and as a married couple as well, that's that leap of faith must have been a very big leap of faith.
It was easy in the sense that we had very different backgrounds. So if they both had been technical, then yes, I might not have joined. But I was the only tech founder on the team. So we had a very clear separation of tasks at the beginning. And over time, it didn't evolve that much. We still have pretty much the same responsibilities than we had when we started. So as long as it's clear who's responsible for what are the decision-making processes that you go through. And as long as you're aligned on the vision of where the business should go and what projects we should work on and where you want to take the company, I think partnerships can work very well as long as you have clear boundaries. Now, especially if you're a married couple, they had to have even more boundaries because they had their personal life.
Now leave it now, come on.
Professional life too. Yeah.
And I'm going to go to your final remarks because I'm very conscious of time, and you've mentioned about work-life balance. I don't want to be sued by any of you for sort of taking advantage of your work-life balance. So final remarks, that lasting impression, those final thoughts you'd like to leave with the audience tonight.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really about this moment of when you hesitate whether you should do it or not. And in my case, when I was also attending some business, panels and meetings and trying to get myself convinced. But if there was this moment where you think I have to jump to the water to test the temperature or to learn how to swim, I would never have been here. So I really hope and encourage people here who are hesitating. If you don't try, you will never find out, and that's the only way to jump into the water.
And listen to what he says, because apparently there's more Lings in China than the entire UK population. So you come from a very big family, is that right?
Yeah.
Or Lees, is it?
It's Lees.
Lees.
Yeah.
More Lees. 100 million.
100 million.
All your family.
Sort of extended.
Yeah. Justine, for you.
I suppose following on from that, I think, yes, step in, try, learn quickly, and be prepared to rip it all up, because I think, we're on about plan H now, just about making a buck. So, yeah, be prepared to pivot and learn quickly. I think that's really good advice, and have something and do something you're passionate about, because quite frankly, if it does take a while or it isn't an overnight success, then you've got to have something that keeps you going, and doing something you really believe in helps a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, doing something you believe in and that passion as well, and that, identifying that need, which you did so well. Renaud?
I think be ready to embrace the unknown. Even for us today, we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what technologies are going to come up. We don't know which competitors are going to spring up in the different places we're in. So be prepared as an entrepreneur to deal with the unknown, to make decisions based on unknown facts. I mean, business plans are great, but they're only valid for like 6 months, because everything is going to have changed by the next 6 months. So integrate that into your decision-making process, just whether you want to decide to go as an entrepreneur. And then as you run your business, be aware that things might not be as you wrote them on your business plan, and embrace that and make everybody aware of that around you in the company. Train people to think of what if conditional statements. I think that's what we do every 3 months or so when we revisit our product roadmap to decide if what we decided 3 months ago still stands.
Well, thank you all very much indeed. I think leave them wanting more. I think there's so much more people would love to ask you, but I think you've given some brilliant advice tonight. Thank you very much to Ning, Justine and Renaud. Thank you very much indeed.